Meetings are good, Trish said. Have you really been to any? Barbara slipped the car into drive and pulled away from baggage claim, heading to the loop that would take them out of the airport and into Jefferson City. Plenty. I've done the workbooks and gone through the 12 steps, like I'm the one with the problem. I've done everything they've told me to do, but she's still using. Al-Anon meetings are to help you cope, not to give you some secret code to sober up your loved one. Barbara knew that now. She'd gone to a few meetings, hoping to learn what would work with Emily. When she didn't get those answers, she'd lost interest. Her own sanity would return when her daughter was sane. Strange that a woman who couldn't be more than 30 would be counseling Barbara now. And who was Trish to counsel an 18-year-old? Emily would take one look at her and declare her dominance. What was she doing? Maybe this was all wrong. You're doing the right thing, Trish said, as though she'd read Barbara's mind. Barbara didn't want to cry in front of the stranger. For a moment, she drove silently, staring at the taillights of the car in front of her. Finally, she spoke again. When Emily was going into preschool, I personally visited 14 schools. I interviewed teachers. I even spent a day with her at the one I liked to see how she fit in. I don't blame you. I'd probably do the same thing if I had children. It's no easy thing sending her to a place like this, halfway across the country. But I had to act quickly. There wasn't time for a careful, deliberate search. I should have been more prepared when things escalated. You mentioned on the phone that she'd stolen money? Yes. Not the first time, but this was the most she'd taken. $400, right out of my account. She got my debit card out of my purse. Spent every penny on drugs. How do you know? Barbara's fingers tightened over the steering wheel. Because she didn't come home for 3 days. I found her strung out at a friend's house. I got her to come home, and while she was sleeping, I searched her things, found some credit cards she'd taken out in her dad's name. John, my husband, died 4 years ago. Barbara paused, expecting a gasp, but it didn't come. She supposed Trish had heard it all before. You had to intervene, Trish said. It sounds like her life has spun out of control. Barbara's own life had spun out of control. First, John's cancer had disrupted their idyllic lives. When he died, she swam through grief so deep it almost drowned her. Being a 40-year-old widow with 2 children was the next mire she slogged through. But now, Emily's drug abuse was more than she could take. You won't be disappointed in our program, Trish said. Barbara glanced at Trish. She'll be locked in, right? Because if she isn't, she'll leave. I've tried treatment 2 other times. One time she ran away after only a week. The second time, she smuggled drugs in and got kicked out. We don't lock them in, but she'll be monitored at all times. Don't worry, we do this all the time. She'll be very comfortable. Comfort wasn't Barbara's main concern, though she didn't want Emily to be miserable. Barbara bit the inside of her cheek as she pulled onto the interstate, headed for the hotel she'd reserved for Trish. She was sinking $30,000 into the Road Back Recovery Center, money that had come from a second mortgage on her house. But being expensive didn't guarantee that it was good. Even the best rehabs had underwhelming success rates. She wished Trish inspired more confidence. You seem very young. How did you come to own Road Back? Trish flicked her hair behind her ear. I'm a recovering addict myself. I got clean at Road Back, and when I graduated, I stayed and worked there. I've been doing interventions for them for 5 years. A couple of years ago, the directors wanted to retire, so I decided to buy it. I couldn't stand the thought of it not being there anymore. That's how much I believe in the program. That made Barbara feel somewhat better. She wished she could go to the facility herself to make sure it was all they advertised. But once she'd made up her mind to do the intervention,